Congress approving another continuing resolution to keep the federal government running, pushing that deadline a little further down the road. It's been a source of contention in the Republican-controlled Congress, with several GOP lawmakers from Indiana voting against it. All this as Republicans continue to work through the primary process this election year, with the former president victorious in Iowa despite his many legal troubles. So what happens next in New Hampshire? Let's talk about it all right now with our panel. Here with us in studio this week, Abdul Hakim Shabazz from IndyPolitics.org, Purdue political science professor Dr. Martin Sweet, and two former state lawmakers for the Democrats, Terry Austin and Republican Mike Murphy. Abdul, I'll start with you here. Some Americans are tuned into politics right now, but some just aren't. You think more people are just now coming to realize just how strong the chances are of former President Trump getting nominated again and possibly being elected president?
I think for a lot of Americans, it's sort of in the back of their heads, unless you're like an immediate primary state like New Hampshire in a few days, also South Carolina coming up. So I think the closer you get to your state's primary, probably the more you're paying attention. But one thing I noticed, particularly in Iowa, where Trump won with 51% of the vote, nearly half the Republicans in the Christian conservative sort of environment wanted someone else. Now the question is,
of those who voted, the turnout was kind of low.
Of those who voted. So that's going to be a big issue going forward. If Donald Trump is the nominee, how do you reunite the rest of your party
in the midst of all his legal troubles, too? So Martin, now it comes down to New Hampshire next, amidst word Friday that Tim Scott would be endorsing Trump instead of his fellow South Carolinian Nikki Haley. So does she still have a chance here in New Hampshire? You think some polls have shown it could be close, while others have shown Trump comfortably ahead there?
I think she has a shot at it, right? I mean, New Hampshire's sort of tailor-made for her in a way because of the fact that it's a semi-open primary, right? So not only Republicans can vote in the primary, but so can non-affiliated voters, which actually is the largest segment of New Hampshire voters. So she's got some movement there where she could really do well. And the question is, can she go from second in Iowa, well, third, I guess, in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Close. To second in New Hampshire, probably a close second. Then can she go first in South Carolina and start rolling
That's
from
her
there?
game plan.
Her home
Yeah.
state. I think 3-2-1 is probably her plan.
So, Mike, how does the Never Trump faction of the Republican Party approach these next few weeks and months?
Well, I guess with some resignation to some degree. I mean, he's obviously going to be the nominee. I think Haley was the only one left in the field with any character. So what happens is 4 years from now, when Haley is president, then she will have a choice whether to pardon Trump or not.
And she actually did say this week that she would do that, or would consider doing it at least. Terry, how do you see all of this from across the aisle, with President Biden's approval numbers still lagging here in recent polls?
Well, it's a long time until November. But I would say that, one, the economy is improving, and you can give that credit to Joe Biden. I think consumers are going to start to see some improvement in prescription drug prices, even though the farm has just raised it a little bit. But they said most people won't see that increase. So as people start to feel it in their pocketbook and recognize they're going to have interest rates are starting to come down in the housing market, I think that you'll see the president's numbers increase.
Okay.
And it all comes down to dollars and cents.
It all comes down to the economy, always does. Mike, let's talk about some of the other races on the ballot this year here in Indiana, including the race for governor. What did you make of the fundraising figures that we saw this week in the race for governor? Chambers raising the most money overall late last year, but Mike Braun still with the most cash on hand and a big lead in the polls too, according to his internal polling numbers.
There's two winners and at least three losers in this whole thing. The two winners are Mike Braun and Suzanne Crouch. Crouch is very close to Braun on cash on hand, which, as we all know in politics, it's all about the burn rate. Who cares how much money you raise? If you buy all Hoosiers a toothbrush, then it's not going to do you a whole lot of good, right?
And Chambers has been spending a lot of money.
A ton of money, ton of misguided money, a lot of money on consultants. They're all happy with him. But the losers turn out to be Doden, who's hardly even registering in his own hometown of Fort Wayne. Remember, he came in fourth in a primary for mayor in 2011. Chambers, who's at 5% max, only 7% in his hometown, where the Meridian Hills Club is backing him, right?
Despite the money he spent.
Despite the money. And then, I never expected Curtis Hill to be a legitimate candidate. I think the public looks like they're agreeing.
Yeah, and he's at about 5% in that poll too. Terry, the Democrats now have a new candidate in the race for Attorney General, with Beth White getting in. Could be a convention fight here between White and fellow candidate Destiny Wells.
I think a lot of times you'll see these things work themselves out before they ever get to the convention floor, quite honestly. giving voters a chance to look at two different candidates. Destiny ran a very great race, impressed a lot of people last time. I don't think that's going to be a problem this time.
Abdul, how do you see this playing out in both parties? Democrats and Republicans could have a fight for the nomination
Attorney General's
here.
race. Imagine that. I think Destiny Wells right now is technically the front runner in a primary in a convention because Beth White got in a little bit later, and Destiny ran before statewide, but also Beth did too. The Attorney General's race is going to be interesting because there's a question. I'm hearing a number of Republicans are thinking about challenging Todd Rokita. Rokita recently announced this week he had $1 million in the bank. I don't say that $1 million does you any good if you can't serve the job because you're not a lawyer, because you're licensed, because you got disbarred.
We'll see how that all plays out. Martin, between this race for AG and the race for governor, it's certainly going to be a big election year here in Indiana. If you think you've already seen a lot of campaign ads, just wait. We're just getting started here, right? Some of these races are going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah, and I got to think ownership of this station's got to be pretty happy, right, of all the ad dollars that are going to be coming here soon.
I think all of the TV stations and radio stations and newspapers everywhere probably are.
You got to think, though, like, how effective are these ads? Right? Who's being convinced by these sorts of things? Name ID is one thing, right? But when you have known candidates who are spending all these hundreds of thousands of dollars in these ads, are they really convincing people? I mean, sort of the digital ad and that targeted ad really seems to be the growth engine for ads, which actually are not nearly as cheap as people might think they are. And so I think that's probably where we're going to see a lot of growth of the digital side.
All right, we'll see what happens, certainly, and we'll see what the panel has to say later about this week's winners and losers coming up. But straight ahead, we'll hear what Hoosiers are telling pollsters about the hot-button issues of marijuana and abortion and why it's not quite in line with the views of our state lawmakers. That's straight ahead.